evening. Welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. Here at Expat Insights, we take external views of internal successes of foreigners, expats, immigrants becoming successful in the Philippines. We sometimes also take a look at their lives back home. Tonight we have a very special guest, a man who's been around to 40 different countries. He has 200 million sales in books, 40 on the New York Times bestseller, the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul series, and the Success Principles mega guru, Jack Canfield. So let's have a little chat with him. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, really good.
So do you like the introduction?
It was fabulous.
All right. So what brings you to the Philippines?
Well, I was here to do a seminar and did that. It was really exciting. And we're going now to do seminars on a 5-city tour all through Asia: Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, Singapore.
Yeah.
And on the Success Principles, or one-day seminars. And I wrote a book about 6 years ago on this topic. Identified there were 64 principles of success that if people utilize those, they could literally create anything they want in their life, whether it was financial success, business success, relationship success, athletic performance, whatever it might be. And so these are principles that I've now been invited all over the world to teach.
64 principles.
64.
Do we need that many?
We actually need 102, but I couldn't put it all in one book. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. Right. I don't know. 64 is a lot to remember.
Well, you know what happens is I don't expect anyone to remember all of them. That's why they're in a book. You can refer to the book. But there's about 25 I call the fundamentals, just like in football. You have to know how to kick and pass and run and all that kind of stuff. So basically, it takes about 3 years to master this. But what I promise people is if you read the book and do what's in it, within 3 years you can double your income.
Double your income?
Double your time off.
So
you have twice as much time off and twice as much income, and have more balance in your life and have more spiritual and emotional fulfillment.
You have accomplished a lot. You have done everything that you profess and preach and practice. You know? Mm-hmm. So you have books, you have tangible and non-tangible successes in your life. You know? And you're happy.
I am.
When you look at yourself in the mirror sometimes, are you sure about your being happy?
Well, you can tell when you look in the mirror. You're either smiling or you're not, you know. Now, I feel happy most of the time. That doesn't mean I don't ever get angry or don't ever get sad. I mean, I lost my cell phone on this trip, and I had about 10 minutes of, gosh darn it, you know, and then I let it go because it's gone. What can I do about it? It doesn't serve me to be unhappy. And see, what I teach is that you live in the now. Right now is all there is. In other words, the past is gone, the future's not here. It's just a succession of nows, present moments. And so if we can make ourselves happy in this present moment, we'll always be happy because it's just a series of unfolding present moments. So, you know, I'll buy a new cell phone and I won't talk to my wife as often for a week, so what? We'll all live. And to me, happiness is an inside job. It's something you choose. I think Abraham Lincoln, who was the 16th president of the United States, said, you're just about as happy as you make up your mind to be. And so we can literally choose to focus on what we have or focus on what we don't have. And people who focus on what they have and notice the abundance in their life, you know, there are people that make $100,000 a year in the United States and they're unhappy. There are people that make...
Is that a lot of money in the United States?
Well, here's the deal. In the world, it's 1/10 of 1%. The top income.
1/10 of
1/10 of 1% of the world's population make 100,000.
That's like 0.1, yeah.
It's 0.001, I think.
No, 0.1, yeah. 0.1,
yeah. So I mean, it's not a lot, right?
People who make $100,000.
$100,000. So you've got people that are making 300, 400, 500,000 millionaires who are unhappy because they're focusing on what they don't have. They don't have their private jet. They don't have the yacht. They don't have the house and the beach, whatever. Instead of realizing, oh my gosh, I have all this abundance. And what we've also learned is that when you focus on what you already have and you feel grateful for it, you actually attract more to you to be grateful for.
That is the law of attraction.
The law of attraction. The law of attraction says what you think about and feel strongly about, you will attract more of into your life. So this is why the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. The poor complain about what they don't have, and the rich are always talking about what they do have.
Wait, slow down. You went through so much stuff on me.
Right.
Let me go back a bit. But we'll come back to the law of attraction.
Yes.
When you have small setbacks, like when you lose a phone,
yes,
yeah, and you bounce right back,
Yes.
What if you lose something much more important, much more valuable to you?
Like silence.
What? Let's pause for the plane here. Let's pause for the plane here. What if you lose a plane? I'm not kidding.
No, that's not fun. No.
When you lose something really and truly important, something close to your heart, how fast do you bounce back?
Well, it really depends on how attached you are to the thing you think you just lost. I mean, a lot of people grieve for years over the loss of a loved one.
Child, yeah.
A child or a parent or a
Yeah,
wife or a
yeah.
friend. But my belief is that there is no end of life, that your spirit, your consciousness goes on. So if I know that you just walked into another room, if you left your seat right now and walked into the hotel which we're sitting in front of,
Yeah.
would I be sad? No, because I'd know you were still over there. But when I lose something, a person, my experience is, oh, they're gone forever, that they're not alive anymore. Well, their consciousness is still alive. And so here's another piece. It's really important to realize. There's a rule in the universe that says whenever you lose something, something else comes to replace it. But I'm so focused on you having left, I don't see this other person that's just showed up
Wait, hang
who
on.
has
hang
similar
on.
qualities.
Hang on. Does this mean that you believe in reincarnation or the spirit living on forever?
I do.
You do.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I have recall of at least 5 of my own past lives
5 past lives of Jack Canfield.
that I'm totally aware of. I was a doctor in Germany. I was a kind of a low-level village official in China. I was a musician in Morocco.
Musician in Morocco.
I was a very bad student to become a shaman in the Native American tribe. So I have total recall. And I was a Catholic priest in Germany.
Well, in what order did these rebirths take place?
You know, I don't actually know all of that. I would say the Chinese life was first, probably the priest life was second, the Moroccan life was third, Native American was fourth, German doctor was fifth. That'd be my guess. I don't ever remember looking at a calendar when I was recalling those lives.
But we'll hold on to this thought. We got a break coming up. We got
Okay.
commercials coming up, people who pay for this show.
Okay.
2 questions. The now thingy that they spoke about, and we'll come back to rebirths.
Okay.
All right, let's pause for a minute for a drink.
Very good.
Good talking to you, Jack.
Thank you.
We're back with Jack Canfield, and he is going way too fast for his age. Let's catch up with him. So, Jack, tell me about the now principle that you were talking about a while ago.
Well, basically, if you live in the current moment, like right now, this is all we're experiencing.
This is it. There's
So if we
no yesterday, there's no
No, only in your memory, only in your mind, right?
Yeah.
So if I can make this moment happy, joyful, fulfilling for me, and I learn how to do that, then I just keep doing that every minute through my life, I'm always going to be happy. It's only when I'm worrying about the future or regretting something in the past that I take myself out of happiness.
So it's like a still shot. Every single moment, every single flash of a second.
That's right.
It's a still shot. That's it.
Right.
So a while ago, you came here sweating.
Yes.
You lost your way.
Yes.
And so if that's now gone from your memory. It's in the past.
Yes.
So you are not regretting. You're not complaining. You have nothing that bothers you about having lost your way.
No.
And having sweated like
No.
a person shouldn't sweat.
Right.
Amazing, amazing. Okay.
Right. How would that serve me?
How would that? So is that the question you're asking me?
Yeah. How would it serve me? Well, it's a rhetorical question. How would it serve
All
me
right.
to regret that I lost my way, or to call myself stupid, or get upset about it?
Oh, how would it feed you? How would it satisfy you?
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't
anything.
just takes my happiness away.
So are you saying that in the last 66 years of your life, or at least the last 46, since you've been practicing these success principles, and you probably had ups and downs in your life,
Yes.
you do not carry anything from your past? Zilch?
Very little. It still shows up sometimes, but then when it does, my job is to release it. So basically, I might, just to give you an example, recently I was working on what is it that's in my life that isn't perfect. So I always want to try to make it more perfect. And I realized I had a lot of clutter in my office, a lot of piles of books and papers and letters, and it was getting to me.
Yeah.
And so I thought, why can't I get rid of this? I would clean it up, and then within 2 months it would all be piled up again. People would send me stuff. It was too much. And what I realized was that I was trying to serve too many people. You know, you can only answer so many letters, you can only write so many books, etc. And people would ask me to write introductions to their books and forewords and testimonial quotes. And because I thought I should, I was letting all these things pile up because I couldn't possibly get to them.
Yeah.
So I went back into my past and I said, where did this come from?
I should do this.
Yes, I should do this.
Yeah.
Came from, and believe it or not, it came from a time when I was 6 years old, and they were going to put my dog to sleep. They're going to kill my dog because he had bitten a neighbor. And
This was in West Virginia.
Yes, I was hiding under the porch with my dog, so they wouldn't find him.
Yeah.
And they're all screaming, "You're going to get punished. Where are you? Come out here with your dog." And I didn't. And what happened was I couldn't save my dog's life.
Right.
And I began to realize that I was feeling guilty that I couldn't save my dog's life, and so I was trying to save everybody else ever since then. And there's a term in English called the underdog, which means like the person who is, poor, in prison, so forth and so on.
The patsy.
Yes. So basically, a lot of my life was around this past memory, but it was subconscious. I didn't realize I'd made a decision when I was 6 years old. It was now still affecting me. When I released that decision and said, okay, I'm not going to run my life that way anymore, all of a sudden I threw away 5 or 6 boxes full of letters and books and all kinds of
stuff.
stuff.
You're done with it?
Done with it? I don't care anymore.
The people that were involved and who were expecting these letters from you, how about them? They're gone.
They're gone.
So they suffer some pain?
I hope not.
I hope not.
But that's their choice.
This thing is so Eastern. It is so metaphysical that you're talking about, no? And it's rare that a Westerner like you lives it. Lives it, no? When and how did you come to this realization that I should do this? It works for me. It makes my life beautiful and powerful. When did that moment happen? Did you sit under a banyan tree or
No. It was an oak tree. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I think it came to me probably when I was about 30 years old. I started meditating, and I was someone taught me how to meditate. I began to do that.
Yeah.
And then I started to have much more inner peace. And then with that inner peace came insight about what was important, what was not important. And so more and more, I just realized this is important, this is not. It's not important to try to please everybody. There's too many people to please. You can't do it. In fact, one of the things I'll do in a seminar, I have a co-leader, and I would have one of them tell you stand up, and I would say sit down. And they say, no, stand up. And I would say, no, sit down. And now you're confused, because if you're trying to please me, you don't know what to do.
Right.
And then you have to decide for yourself, would you rather sit down or would you rather stand up? Most of us go through life trying to figure out what other people want and try to give them that, rather than going inside and deciding what we want. There's a story I open my book with, which is about a man.
What's the name of the book?
Success Principles book. Yeah. It's the first story I tell after my introduction, about a man who was looking for a key under a lamp outside at night.
Yeah.
And this other man comes up and says, "Sir, what are you doing?" He's down on his hands looking around. He says, "I'm looking for my key." He said, "Well, let me help." And so about 20 minutes go by, and he says, "Sir, we've looked everywhere. There's no key here."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I didn't really lose it here. I lost it in my house." He said, "Well, why are we looking for it out here then?" He said, "There's more light out here." So we spend our life looking for answers outside of ourselves instead of inside ourselves.
Instead of where we lost it.
Yes.
Based on that,
Yes.
The Eastern philosophy says that people who look far and out are considered dreamers. Yeah? Or they dream. People who look inside and deep awaken. So which one of those would you regard yourself to be? Dreamer or one who's been awakened?
I would say I'm an awakened dreamer.
And how's that?
Well, because I do feel like I'm awake, not every single moment. I don't claim to be a guru or totally enlightened at all. But I also look far out. If I have a vision of what I hope the world can become. I would like the world to be living in peace, ecologically sustainable, socially just, good education for everybody, medical treatment, etc. And at the same time, I am also aware that everybody has their own karma to play out, that there's everybody has to grow and become more responsible, learn the principles of life, and that's part of the game we have to play here on Earth. But for me, I am someone, maybe I'm a combination of East and West. Maybe that's the new game. We've integrated these two. But I have a vision, I have goals, I look far. I believe that we can create a world that works for everybody. And at the same time, I look inside and I am very at peace with myself. And I feel very connected to all humans and God and so forth.